Next, you need to create the code for the canvas screen. When the canvas screen is displayed, you need to display the sprite corresponding to the button selected on the home screen in the canvas. That way we can draw on the screens that come with the sprite. You may remember that when we designed the canvas screen, we gave true for touch drawing. This is why here we get the ability to draw on the screen. You can select a color by clicking on a button here for the drawing. With the clear button, you can remove all the drawings we have drawn at once. Erase the required part with the eraser and go back to the home screen with the back button. So now let's create the code for this part. I go back to the Blocks tab. When the canvas screen is displayed and the canvas is loaded, we need to display the sprites related to the previously selected button. We created 4 sprites for this. But in cases where we need to display one of several images like this, we can use the set sprite main image number 2 code block to create only one sprite and change the image of that sprite. But as the website says, there is a bug in this code block, so we don't get the desired output. This is why we created the 4 sprites when we designed the canvas. We can create the code like this to display the required one of these 4 sprites. First, when the canvas is loaded, hide all the sprites and start. Drag a when canvas 1 loads code block from the events under canvas blocks like this. 4 hide code blocks under the looks of canvas blocks are dragged into the when canvas 1 loads code block like this. The sprite of the first code block is sprite 1. In the next code block, change it to sprite 2. Next, let's change the 2 code blocks to sprite 3 and sprite 4. Drag an if-do-else code block under control below the hide code blocks. I connect here a code block with the equal sign in the logic group. Connect an app variable options code block in variables to the left side of the equal sign and drag a code block with a pair of inverted commas in the text to the right side. Let's put XO in inverted commas. Okay, here we have checked whether the value of the option variable is equal to XO. If it is similar to XO, the sprite with the tic-tac-toe.png should be displayed. That is, sprite 1 should be displayed. For this, drag a show code block under the looks of the canvas blocks into this do section and give sprite 1 as the sprite. Next is the opportunity to click the button paint. If the button paint is clicked, the value of the options variable is assigned as paint. You need to check whether the value of option variable is equal to XO or equal to paint. For that, we need to connect an if to the else section here. How can we connect an if here and create an else if block? Look, the settings icon is at the top of the if do else code block. I click on this icon. We received a box like this. Here there are 2 code blocks called else if and else on the left side. There is an if-else code block on the right side. We need to make the else here as else if. We need to make the else here and else if. That's why I drag this else if code block on this else code block like this. Now look, the code block is changed as we want, right? It is difficult to create the code when this box is there. So let's remove this box. For that, again, I click on this settings icon. Right. Now let's set the condition. What is needed here is a code block in the same way that was created for XO button. So I will right click here and duplicate this code block. Connect the duplicated code block to the else if section and select the value here to paint. Okay. Now the sprite with a car, that means sprite 2 should be displayed. As before, a show code block under the looks of the canvas block is connected to the do section here and sprite is changed to sprite 2. What to do if the value of option variable is not equal to paint? Next, we need to check whether the variable is equal to the string value called path. This else section has to be converted into an else if. As before, click on the string icon here and drag the else if code block onto this else block. Okay. Now click on the settings icon again and remove this box. To create the condition, right click on the previously created condition and duplicate this code block. Connect the duplicated code block to the else if section and change the value here to path. Okay. Now the sprite with the drawing path.png, that is sprite3, should be displayed. As before, a show code block under looks of the canvas blocks is connected to the do section here and the sprite is changed to sprite3. There is one more button left. If the value assigned to the variable is not equal to these three words, we need to check whether the word is equal to dots. Once again, this else section has to be converted into an else if. As before, click on the settings icon here and drag the else if code block onto this else code block. Now, let's click on the settings icon again and remove this box. To create the condition, right-click on the previously created condition and duplicate the code block. Connect the duplicated code block to the else if section and change the value here to dots. Okay. Now the sprite with dots and boxes.png, that means the sprite4 should be displayed. As before, a show code block under looks of the canvas blocks is connected to the do section here and the sprite is changed to sprite4. Okay, now we have finished creating the code block to display the sprite according to the clicked button.